I'd like to welcome everyone to the Collision Repair and Refinish stage at SEMA 2022. And today with me is Jeff Melvin from Solidus Equipment. So Jeff, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, my background, I've been with Solidus now for coming up on 7 years. I've worked in the automotive industry for too many, tens of years. But with Solidus for 7, I'm the National Sales Director, and we provide equipment, obviously, to the collision industry. We cover almost everything except paint booths, which we've looked at some things that may be in our future, we don't know, but it's primarily welding equipment, frame equipment and lifts, just a full variety of measuring systems, pretty much anything, and then we service a lot too. We do a lot of service on in-ground lifts, welding equipment, just about everything.
All right, so let's get into the presentation here, and we can start going through some of the
Let's go to the first slide. Yeah, so these welders, MIG welders are a very large category for us. The welders here are our branded welders, the Solidus brand, and these are a very high quality welder. We actually started out with these welders in a 1 and a 3 torch, which the 3 torch is the one on the left. They're a full pulse MIG. They'll do any combination of steel, aluminum, silicon bronze, and we have recently added a 4th torch to that unit, and that's brand new for SEMA. We have a prototype model here, but 3 torches is great. You know, you can do steel, bronze, and aluminum, run all 3 at once, but what if you want to run 2 steel, a bronze, and an aluminum, or 2 aluminum and a bronze and a steel? You have the ability here now to do that. And the technician isn't constantly changing wire all the time.
Well, and I think that's something that's really interesting because, you know, on some of these mixed material vehicles, you could be using those 4 torches on one vehicle for one one repair that you're doing.
Yeah.
Even some of the Hondas where you have the 2 steels,
right,
because you have their high tensile strength steel wire and then the regular steel wire and the brazing, and on a single uniside you could be using all 3 torches for that alone.
That's right. That's right. And that was our thought with this when we developed it, was you can have you know, 0.8 mild steel wire, you can have the Honda wire, you can have bronze, and then, you know, your aluminum, your 5554 for the Fords or whatever you're working on, and have it in the bay and not have to change it all the time.
Yeah, and that's you know, I think that's a really important point, that, you know, you have to follow the OEM procedures and you have to understand what's in them and use the correct wire, because they've done the research to know that in order for that repair to be quality, you have to use the correct material.
That's correct.
So
yeah,
it's
so that's new. We'll have those here very shortly in quantity on the 4 torch, and I think it's going to be a winner. You can also see on the slide the torch management. Everything's up above, separated, very neat and clean, and stays organized.
So on these welders, if you are going to, you know, grab a different torch and you have it, can you preset them up, and when you grab the specific torch, is that what?
Yeah, you set up, you just hit the trigger on the number 1 torch, you set it up for the wire you're using, and it stays, even if you turn the welder off, it stays in memory. So you don't have to reprogram it every time. The only time you would have to reprogram it is if you change the wire on that number, on that torch. But other than that, yeah, it stays there. These are very easy to use. You know, you don't have a lot of complicated menus and different screens. Very simple to use. So next one, we spot welder category. We sell a couple of different brands of spot welders that we provide. We're also, I mentioned our Solidus branded product. We're also a nationwide importer for Elmatech spot welders, which is what you see on the screen here, as well as an importer for GYS. So primarily Midwestern states, for GYS, North America for Elmatech. And these are a German-made welder, very high quality, fully automatic, certified, cover all the ICAR certifications as well as the GYS. One of the neat things about these welders is, in the center you see the picture, very easy to change the gun if you ever need to. All quick disconnects on everything.
You know, and I think that's one thing that, you know, there's so many different ways and places we have to get with these arms and these guns to actually reach into them. So having something where you can quickly swap it out because, well, this gun has a different set of arms that I need and I can get in there.
Yeah, and that's always a challenge. That's something we get asked the most when we talk to somebody about a spot welder, or I'll talk to somebody that's had a spot welder for a while, and it doesn't matter what brand it is. A lot of times they'll say, you know, that's the biggest challenge they have, doing a rear body panel or something. I don't have an arm that's deep enough. And a lot of times with these welders, there are arms that are available. And what we try to do is, you know, we have a lot of experience in building welder packages and putting the right arms with them and the right X adapters over on the right side, you know, to make access. You're never going to get to every spot. No welder is going to do that. But we try to maximize that as much as we can.
Yeah, and when you see the videos of the factory where they're actually, where their spot welding arm comes in, and they have some pretty impressive ones to make those spot welds. And we don't have that in the collision side. So we have to follow that OEM procedure and make sure we're getting it spot welds where it needs to be.
Right.
And usually they've identified with the equipment that's out there that you can actually reach those areas to actually make the spot welds.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And these, all of our welders come with, like I said, a variety of arms to make sure that usually you can get to probably 85 to 90% of the spots. You know, doing a rear body, it's a little tough. You're doing a floor pan, a trunk pan in the back or something. Getting up to the front of it, it's a little difficult. You might have to plug some bed sides, things like that. But, you know, you're right, the factory access with their tool, their equipment's a little bit different than these. But we try to help you out to get to as much as we can. So, okay. Next category, frame equipment. This encompasses a large area when you talk about frame equipment and lifts. We are a nationwide Solidus distributor. With Solidus, one of the things with Solidus in the last couple of years, they've really come on strong with their universal jig system, their chameleon system. Everybody's always thought of Solidus in the past of being, oh, they're the company and you have to have all those dedicated jigs that you have to rent. That's kind of going by the wayside. They still have them, it's still all available, but the universal jigs, like you see here in the picture, the chameleon, the red cabinet, and then the blue jigs are on the movable bases, and they have different heights and full data on how to build jigs, not for just European cars, but also domestic. So if you've got a Chevy Impala or a Ford F-150, whatever you want to jig, or a Jag or Land Rover, whatever you want to jig, you can with that system.
Well, and with all the fixture benches and things like that, the one thing that, you know, I think has really evolved is when we used to have a car on a frame rack, and if you cut the uniside off, the whole car would sag. If you put it on the lift of the car and open the door, you might bend a fender in because the car sagged. Where the cars now are so precise on, you know, how they're designed and how so strong, when we're replacing parts, the fixture actually helps you hold the part in the correct location.
That's right. That's right. Especially with aluminum vehicles where you can't pull. So, and that's where these things were originally designed. But I'll tell you what they work great for an American, you know, a Chevy Impala or something that you have to do front end work on. They work fantastic. And with the universal jigs, you don't have to rent the jigs and return them, and, you know, or think, oh, I got this jig set I rented. I hope they're all there, and I hope it's all in good condition. But we also have some benches that I don't have pictures of from a company called Uniliner, which is another frame bench. It's more of a generic type frame machine. It does not use jigging. It uses standard sill clamps and truck clamps, but we provide those as well. The other thing in this category, it's not pictured there, but we're getting into more EV work, and we sell a full line of battery lift tables where we supply to Rivian, Lucid, VW Audi. So we're getting more and more into that, as well as ADAS. We sell the launch ADAS systems. So, you know, it's all coming very quickly and changing quickly, as you guys know.
You know, and that's one thing that the equipment has had to evolve so much over the last few years to keep up with the evolving vehicles out there.
Right.
EVs, you know, so many people are kind of going, I don't like EVs. Whether you like them or not, they're coming.
You don't have any choice.
Yeah.
Right.
And
right.
so, you know, I think people really need to start taking a look at, you know, what equipment they're going to need in the next year, next 5 years, next 10 years.
Perfect example. We've got a new product. We don't have it in our booth. We wanted to, but it didn't make it on time. A blanket to go over the entire car. So let's say you've got an EV in your shop. It's disabled. It's immobilized, and there's a fire. There's an event. What do? You don't want it to take the whole shop down. Throw the blanket. This thing it's fireproof, covers the entire car to manage that event, to manage that fire within the shop without taking the whole shop down. And I think things like that are going to be, you know, in addition to the safety equipment that's required now for working on EVs, and training, knowledge of how do you work on this thing without having that event. So those things, you know, you mentioned earlier, you've got a separate booth for ADAS and EVs, and that's what it's going to take. You know, it's the direction it's going, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So,
well, thanks for stopping by, and have a great rest of the show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.